Hello students, today I am going to start with the last part of the classification of hemolytic anemia. If you will go back to my slide first LVC of hemolytic anemia, I have told about the classification of hemolytic anemia. It is mainly based on the intrinsic defect and extrinsic defect, right? So intracorpuscular defect we saw with the red cell membrane defect, hemoglobin defect and enzyme defect, right? We have finished with all those. Now coming on to the extrinsic defect or extracorpuscular defect. These are usually acquired type of hemolytic anemia. So under that we have two types, that is immune mediated and non-immune mediated. Immune mediated means antibody mediated, non-immune mediated means antibody without the antibody hemolysis is. Coming on to the first one, immune mediated hemolytic anemia. Hemolytic anemia due to antibodies directed against red cells. These antibodies may be produced by the patient, that is autoimmune, against his own red cell. That's why it is called as autoantibodies. Patient's antigen directed against his own antibody directed against his own red cell is called as autoimmune hemolytic anemia, right? And the second type is these antibodies may also be alloantibodies, that is introduced to patient's circulation or acting against his red cell, that is during blood transfusion or hemolytic disease of newborn, etc. These may be produced by the patient and directed against alloantibodies, that is red cell antigens introduced to the patient by blood transfusion or by drugs. Coming on to the autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Autoimmune hemolytic anemia is used to describe a group of hemolytic anemias which result from the development of antibodies directed against antigen on the surface of patient's own red cells. The antibodies are usually IgG and also IgM and can be IgA type, but mainly it is IgG type. It is classified according to the temperature at which the body reacts with the red cells into warm antibodies and cold antibodies. These are the two types, warm antibodies and cold antibodies, and also according to the idiopathic and secondary idiopathic, that is based on the etiology. We will concentrate on warm antibodies and cold antibodies. Coming on to the warm antibodies. Warm antibodies reactive at body temperature and coating the red cells are generally IgG class antibodies, and occasionally they are IgA type of antibodies. The blood examination shows spherocytosis, reticulocytosis and a positive direct antiglobulin test. In severe illness, patients show low hemoglobin value. A mild increase in MCV is usually seen. In acute cases or with severe hemolysis, leukocytosis is frequently seen. The ESR is markedly increased in case of active states. The blood collected from the patient for routine examination often shows mild agglutination in the collected tube and on the blood films. Here the direct Coombs test is positive, which is of very diagnosis. The serum bilirubin is increased and other liver function tests will usually be normal. Cold autoimmune hemolytic anemia. Here, autoantibodies acquired hemolytic anemia due to cold antibodies is less frequent than the warm antibody type. In these cases, autoantibodies react best with the red cells at temperature below 37 degrees centigrade. Cold hemagglutinin disease and paroxysmal cold hemoglobinuria are two forms of autoimmune acquired hemolytic anemia. The blood picture of cold autoimmune hemolytic anemia shows normochromic anisocytosis with autoagglutination and polychromasia. The other tests include direct Coombs test, which is positive, and detection of significant cold antibodies by cold agglutinin titer test. That is, we go in for the titer examination. Next, moving on to alloimmune hemolytic anemia. In this type of hemolysis, alloantibodies are present in the serum or may be bound to the red blood cells. Under that first one, you have hemolytic transfusion reaction. Hemolytic transfusion reaction. In ABO mismatching, naturally occurring IgM type antibodies which are active at 37 degrees centigrade are present in the recipient's serum. These antibodies coat the donor's red cells with complement and activation to C9 results in intravascular hemolysis. This is hemolytic transfusion reaction. If I have to say in common terms, that is, if the person has taken received blood, then this transfusion, hemolytic transfusion reaction is seen. The next type is hemolytic disease of newborn. Hemolytic disease of newborn, also called as HDN in short, occurs in case where mother is Rh negative and is exposed to Rh positive fetus. That is, baby is Rh positive and mother is Rh negative, which induce formation of anti-Rh antibodies. Initially IgM and subsequently IgG in the mother. That is, antibodies are formed in the mother. Initially it will be IgM type of antibody. Later it will turn on to IgG type of antibody. Antibodies across the placenta and cause hemolysis in Rh positive cells of the fetus, resulting in icterus of the newborn. Icterus means another name for jaundice. Severe disease leads to, if the condition continues, then it leads to kinecterus. Kinecterus means the jaundice in the newborn, which affects the and also bilirubin pigment is seen in the brain and causes brain damage. Rh immunization occurs mainly in Paras women means who had at least one earlier pregnancy, due to which sensitization to Rh negative cells took place. Sorry, Rh positive cells, not negative cells. I'm sorry. Rh positive cells took place. Antibodies in the mother and the baby are detected by indirect and direct Coombs test respectively. That is, in next, physical trauma. Physical disruption of red cells may occur in a number of conditions and is characterized by the presence of red cell fragments on the blood film and markers of intravascular hemolysis. They are mechanical heart valve type, the first type. Here, high flow of blood through incomplete valves or periprosthetic leakage, that is when they keep the valves, pacemakers and all, there is leakage through the sutures or valves in the place, which results in shear stress damage or damage to the red cells will be seen. This is mechanical heart valve. Microangioplasty also can be told. March hemoglobinuria, that is the second one. Here vigorous exercise such as prolonged marching or marathon running can cause red cell damage in capillaries in the feet. Third one, thermal injury, that is severe burns causes thermal damage of the red cells characterized by fragmentation and presence of microspherocytes in the blood. In all three cases of the physical trauma, you see microspherocytes and fragmented RBCs. Infection. Plasmodium falciform malaria may be associated with intravascular hemolysis. When severe, this is termed as black water fever due to associated hemoglobinuria. Because of the black color of the urine, it is also called as black water fever. Chemicals or drugs. These agents cause hemolysis by oxidant denaturation of the hemoglobin. Chemicals like dapsone and sulfasalazine can produce hemolysis associated with the presence of Heinz bodies in the red cells on supravital staining with the brilliant crescile blue. That is, if these drugs are taken, the patient's red cells, when stained with the brilliant crescile blue staining, you see Heinz bodies. Heinz bodies contain denatured hemoglobin, which has already been told. Arsenic gas, copper, chlorates, nitrates and nitrobenzene derivatives may also cause hemolysis. With this, we finish with the classification, complete classification of hemolytic anemia. Next, we move on to the special tests for hemolytic anemia.